Colts Nation, this is one of those moments that shifts the entire mood of a season. Behind the scenes, tough decisions were made, and they weren't about football comfort at all. A major absence forces new faces into pressure situations, while the front office scrambles to stabilize multiple units at once. This isn't chaos, it's survival mode. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the safety net is gone. Every move from here on out matters. If you're riding with Indianapolis through every high and low, subscribe now, hit that like button, and stay locked in. Because the horseshoe is entering its most dangerous stretch, yet with the season hanging by a very thin thread right now for everyone involved together. The moment I heard the name Charvarius Ward SR, attached to yet another concussion, his third of the season, mind you, I felt this deep, uneasy weight drop straight into my chest, because this isn't just about football anymore, and anybody pretending it simply isn't paying attention. When the Indianapolis Colts announced they were placing Ward on injured reserve again, all I could think was, how many times does a man have to get knocked down before somebody around him finally says, enough is enough? I'm watching a franchise that desperately needs him on the field suddenly confront the terrifying truth that his long-term health is no longer a storyline, it's the entire story. And when your defensive coordinator publicly says, forget about the football player, you know this situation has crossed a line you don't ever want to cross in professional sports. And let me be clear, I love the way Ward plays. I love the energy, the physicality, the swagger, the competitiveness that made him one of the best corners in the AFC the moment he walked into Indianapolis. But when I hear him admit earlier this season that he wondered if he'd ever play football again, that he actually questioned his own livelihood after a pre-game concussion, I can't sit here and talk X's and O's like this is just another injury report. This is the kind of moment that forces you to look at a man, not a depth chart, and ask yourself whether continuing is worth risking the rest of his life. And if you're a Colts fan who truly cares about him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But of course, in the NFL, the machine keeps turning, doesn't it? One man goes down, another man steps in, and the Colts elevated Cameron Mitchell back to the active roster because that's what survival demands in December. Yet even as they fill the vacancies, even as they shuffle rosters and move pieces, the cloud hanging over Charvarius Ward doesn't go away. Instead, it lingers, and it reminds you of how fragile this whole thing really is. Because while Ward is fighting a battle with his own future, the Colts are scrambling to keep their season alive by elevating Blake Group and Brett Rypien to the 53-man roster, trying to patch every leak with whatever materials they can get their hands on. And speaking of chaos, let's talk about this quarterback situation, because the moment I saw Brett Rypien get that promotion, I knew we were inching closer to one of the wildest plot twists in recent NFL memory, with Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson SR. Both on IR, with Riley Leonard hobbling around with a PCL strain, you're telling me Rypien might be starting against Seattle? Really? This is where we are. And yet the story doesn't stop there. It can't stop there. Because out of nowhere, here comes Philip Rivers, 44 years old, freshly signed to the practice squad like some sort of football boomerang that refuses to stay retired. And I'm supposed to pretend this is normal. I'm supposed to look at this and shrug. Absolutely not. Because if Rivers actually gets activated, that man sacrifices 5 more years of Hall of Fame eligibility. He wipes out his current candidacy. He resets the entire clock. For what? For a shot, one more shot to help the Colts reach a postseason they haven't tasted since he left in 2020. That is not desperation. That is not nostalgia. That is a man answering a call because he believes this team can still be something. And if you don't feel the magnitude of that, I don't know what to tell you. So here we are, Colts fans, standing in the intersection of heartbreak and hope. Charvarius Ward's long-term health hangs in the balance. Brett Rypien might be QB1 by Sunday. Philip Rivers is warming up somewhere like he's Benjamin Button. And through it all, this team is still fighting for a playoff berth in a season that has turned into pure chaos. So I need to know, do you believe this team can survive these blows and still make a run? Or are we witnessing the unraveling of a season that once held so much promise? Drop your thoughts, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay loud in this Colts community. Because the drama in Indianapolis is only getting started.